La Resortera.
All right. Here we are again. Another episode of Pura Vida Perspectives podcast. Here with Jairo. We have our guest again, Crystal Perdue here. If you guys heard last week's episode, we did kind of an introduction of her and her journey and kind of what she does in Costa Rica. She's been here for 20 years now. Long time. So she has a lot of really good tips of adjusting, and she said she was back in Costa. She came to Costa Rica when there was no peanut butter here, so she really had to learn how to live different. Because now some people can come to Costa Rica and find areas where maybe they don't have to make as many changes. There will be changes. Mm-hmm. You mentioned in the last episode traffic. We did a whole episode talking about traffic. And we named it Tears in Traffic.
Tears in Traffic.
So there will be, of course, regardless, changes. You are living in another country, maybe not as intense. Of some people don't have to make them as intensive as what I feel you went through, because you have been living in an area where there's a lot less other people who've moved from, like, other foreigners there in general. But so we talked about mental health and how that's really important. And you're just so wonderful, and you're just filled with so much knowledge and information. And whether someone's moving or traveling or just living, breathing, I think that anything that you have to say will be extremely helpful. So I guess we should jump into it. I mean, I really liked what we talked about before about forming habits, forming routines. Like, kind of, this person's like creating their new life, their new routine. They're thinking, oh, this is going to be amazing. They have their rose-colored glasses on. That's what I thought. And then I'm going, oh my God, I was literally on this emotional roller coaster of ups and downs and riding these huge waves. So I think others may find themselves in that situation too. So just to know it's totally normal, and maybe there's some things that we can do to kind of, how can people get through these waves,
the emotional roller coasters. Yeah. And I think the key really is having a routine. And I'm a huge one of talking about habits. And, people say, well, I want to wait until I'm motivated to do certain things. And I think having this even before you make a move.
Yes.
Totally. Like, having healthy habits are so important, because it just kind of carries over with you wherever you go. I always tell my daughter, she lives in China, and I'm like, we started doing training together right before she left. And no matter where she goes in the world, she's been in Madrid, she's been all over. And wherever there is a gym, that's a habit. It's a non-negotiable. Like, I know that that's kind of like home. I'm like, just find a gym, find some weights, and that's it. And I think, going back to motivation, it's a feeling. It comes and goes. But it's having that consistency, the dedication to having those healthy habits. So I really think that is a key in just a very successful, smooth transition wherever you go.
Totally. And habits, and I think routines change. So like I've myself have had very many different habits, routine changes, and I'm always trying to tweak and do better. And I found myself totally in spirals and not doing good at all. I mean, again, it doesn't have to do with anything with being here. It's just yourself and your discipline. And then there's a lot of days I don't want to go to the gym. I don't feel like going, but I go. And then afterwards I'm like, okay, I went. That's good. But
Well, and it also can help prevent depression and anxiety. It really can. It's, prevention of having those healthy, daily, consistent habits, not only moving your body, but what you eat, what you put in your body. And I always tell people, I don't like the word diet. I just say it's a lifestyle. I'm not a huge one of, I need to go on a diet or I need to cut calories back. It's just about, I love the food that I eat. And we were talking in the last episode about how Costa Rica really aligns with that, with the lifestyle that I like to live. We have access to healthy fruits and veggies and lots of eggs. Lots of eggs here. Having a high protein diet, fueling our bodies with good, healthy food, and doing that even before you move too, is important, incorporating those types of habits.
Now, last week you mentioned something like move, at least do jumping jacks, do
anything,
do whatever. And I'm going to say this myself. Sometimes I'm lazy. I'm like I try to do one sport at least once a day for about an hour.
Okay.
But there's certain days that I just don't want to do anything.
You don't want to do it. You don't, yeah.
What happens if for that specific day, or maybe I was trying to find a friend to do what I do because it's a two-person sport and my friend can't do it. I was thinking of myself, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna do this static bicycle.
Okay.
If my friend can do what I do, because I play squash,
Okay.
I really like that.
Cool.
But it requires another person. So if that person is not available to do it with me, that's when I feel lazy and I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna do it. So
Okay. Well, first thing, Jairo, I'm going to correct you on your. The words we use are so powerful. I always tell my clients our brains are listening. So saying things like "I'm lazy," you are what you think. You are what you say. As you think, you shall be. So I want to first, I want to give you a little.
There you go.
Little
Now we're
coaching
talking.
lesson here.
There you go.
Let's just get
Now
to
we're
work here.
talking.
Let's get to work. Because it's the words we use. Because when my clients say, "I will try to go to the gym," I'm like, "Oh, what?" Saying try to me is like saying the F word. I'm like, and they're like, no, I will. Just as something as simple as reframing the words we use. It's so powerful. Instead of saying I should go to the gym, people see me and they're, oh, I should eat healthier. It's a choice. You can choose to do that. So what I would invite you to do when you have those moments, when you're feeling like low energy or you don't have somebody to play squash with, look at what your options are and seeing the choice. Like my non-negotiable is I'm going to move in some capacity. Maybe you don't play squash that day. Maybe you just go for a walk or do weights and allowing your body to really feel when you say that, I will do this, because it's like you're in control now. Your lack of motivation is not in control. Does that make sense?
Yep, exactly. Or maybe finding something that you like to do by yourself too. So if there's those times where he can't go do it, then you have like, oh, well, cool, I'll go do this thing that I like doing by myself now.
Because the camera don't lie. I'm bigger of what I used to be, and about 3 weeks ago, I started to make changes in my life.
Good.
The way I eat, start doing exercise. I wanna be the height in the looks that I was, because I'm always the same guy. I'm my energy and my vibe and everything is the same. I just don't feel good with the way I look, and I'm working on it. So the other day I was thinking, on Friday was it? My friend can play squash with me. What do I do? So I decided that day not to do anything. The next day, I always tell my wife, my greatest idea comes when I'm showering.
Oh, nice.
And on Saturday morning, I was taking a shower. I was like, what if next time I can do squash or play soccer, which are like the most two common things that I do, and they require more people. What can I do for myself that I don't need anybody else? So I was like, I'm going to hit the gym for 30 to 45 minutes and do the
elliptical or one of those.
The bike.
Something.
And I was like, that doesn't require anybody else but me.
And I also have another tip. Something I tell my clients is I call it the three sets of 10 method. And what it is I give them just 3 compound movements you can even do in your home. You can do push-ups, set-ups, and air squats. And just do 3 sets of 10, because that's something. Because again,
better than nothing.
It's better than nothing, and movement is medicine. And when you do that, it activates all those, nervous systems in the brain, and it gives you that opportunity just to feel even more motivation and just start. Because I have clients all the time, they always say, I don't have time, Crystal. It's not that. It's not a priority.
Exactly.
It's not a priority. I'm like, let's just be honest here. And I'm about not sugarcoating things with clients. And I think, and that's, I'll tell them, I'm like, it's not a priority, and that's okay. That's okay, but to say I don't have time or I have too much work, if it was a priority, by golly, right? No matter how busy we are, that alarm clock goes off, you're going to hit the gym. And what happens is it's almost like a domino effect, because you have success in other areas in your life because you're making a commitment to yourself. You're telling your brain you're worth two craps, to do these movements, and it's going to increase your self-esteem. And it's going to be accountability for yourself. It's saying, I care about myself with intentional movement. Because I work with nurses and doctors. I work with all kinds of clients all over the world. And they're like, well, I walk 20,000 steps a day. Doesn't that count? And I'm like, but that's not intentional. That's movement. And that's great that you get those 20,000 steps in. But what is your intentional movement? Because you're taking time for yourself to say, I love my body enough to do a 30-minute workout or even 10 minutes, and that's that intentionality of saying I'm worthy, which will build your self-esteem. And it will unlock so many possibilities for you because you put out that energy that I'm confident and I believe in myself.
Yeah, and I think you need to adopt it into your routine. So I started early morning stuff. I get up, I go. And I started more last July, but then I had a sciatic issue. So then I really couldn't do anything for a few weeks. Remember that? That was awful. But then I started bike riding. I realized, I can ride a bike. That doesn't hurt. I can't hike uphill. I can't go to the gym. I can't do that, but I can ride a bike and I can walk. So I just started riding bikes and walking. Now I'm back in the gym, but it became a habit of okay, this time of the day, I get up and I go. And then if there's a morning that I don't do that, I'm like, oh no, I don't know what to do with myself. So maybe just see where you can fit it in, and it'll just become such a habit that you're it's a non-negotiable. Like she said, you have to go do it. I didn't get to the gym today because I was here, but the next 4 days I'll be there, and then that's it.
Well, and I think that's an excellent point because when clients tell me I'll go 3 times this week, and I'm like, I don't roll that way. Tell me the days. And I'm like, they're like, well, you want me to get I'm like, yeah, I want you to get your calendar out now.
It's in my calendar.
Yeah. I know you're good at that. I want you to get your calendar right now, and I want us to work on this together. And they're like, okay, let me go get it. And I'm like, great, and then part of the session is literally, okay, what days, and I want to know what time. Because if we do that again, it's like one of those things of I'll try to go 3 times this week, and it doesn't happen. And, it's just basically saying you care about yourself.
Well, I'm glad I'm on the right path because
you are.
I don't have it written down on my calendar, but I am aware that I'm doing this every night at 5 or 6 p.m.
Good.
Yep.
Good. And that's good. And like Sarah was saying, having that time, because then your body, it's like, well, you guys know when we get up every morning, your body just gets kind of acclimated to that and it expects it. And when you don't do it, even when I'm on vacation, I still, even if it's a walk, it's something to get moving.
Okay.
Now for you, you'll finish your work day essentially, and then it'll be okay, time for me to change my clothes,
That's
get
what I
ready,
do.
and right, and it'll become.
Yeah, that's what I do.
It'll become your thing, so it'll just become such a habit for you there too.
Yeah, that's what I'm actually doing right now.
Good.
And I'm the type of person that eating healthy, I wouldn't say complicated, but I'm not the type of person that eat every type of fruit or vegetable. So making that change has been a little bit difficult. The other day, my wife gave me a salad and pepino. How do you say the pepino?
Cucumber, yeah.
And she gave me these big pieces of pepino. And I'm like, all right, you're pushing it too far. I mean, I've been eating salad for 2 weeks, but now the pepino comes this
and
big size.
Whoa.
And I just can't do it. The other day, she gave me yogurt. And I just don't like it. And I try it, and I was like, I give it 2 spoons of a try, but I mean, I can't take it.
Well, the key is finding things that you like.
Like
I said.
And that's what we're doing.
That's, you have to experiment.
And that's what we're doing.
I love my food. Some people are like, oh, are you on a diet? I'm like, no, I actually I pretty much eat the same thing every day. I mean, I'm pretty boring, right? So, I eat my eggs. I love ground turkey, love tilapia. And I do, but I love it. I love my meals. And I think that's what keeps us on track. And, people say, oh, how do you do it? How do you do it? And it's a choice. Again, I am telling my brain, your brain's listening. We are kind of the navigators, and we have to tell our brain. And I tell myself I love my food, and I really do. I mean, my kids don't so much. My daughter does. She's more into gym meal prep now, but because it's not. But I like how I make it, and then what I want to invite you to do too is being intentional. Before you have a meal, really stop. So many of us don't even think. We just shovel the food in our mouth, and we don't even we're not intentional or mindful, but really savoring it and saying, this is fueling my body with beautiful food. And I get it. Some people have to go through the McDonald's or whatever, and I'm certainly not going to shame. I mean, hey, guilty as charged for my son, if he wants McDonald's, I'll do that. But I think too, just taking time to really be mindful and intentional with our choices is a key to success as well.
This is what I would do if I were you. So this is what I do. So I have my diet. My meals are so boring. I have them break down between carbs, fats, and proteins. And I know how much of each, how many calories I want to hit per day, because my problem is under eating versus overeating.
Okay.
So I have to like weigh my food to make sure I'm eating enough versus not under eating. And then I have a list of carbs that I know I like, that are like good healthy ones, maybe like camote, you know, like sweet potato or whatever. I got my fats. I love avocado. That's an easy go-to. Olive oil, and then I got my whatever proteins, like all the proteins that I like, whatever meats I like. So then I just know how many calories I need to have per day, how many I need to shoot per meal, what are my percentages, you know, what are my grams of kind of each thing. So then my same breakfast every morning is like 2 tortillas, 2 eggs, some feta cheese, avocado, hot sauce. Then I got my protein scoop. And so I just pick and choose whatever. So it's kind of funny. I'll be like, all right, ham, potato, like whatever. And then I'm like, okay, it all measures out. Yep, we got all the right portions. That's how I put all my meals together now. And then I just have that stuff in my house. I don't buy anything else. So it doesn't have to just be salads.
No.
I got bored of salads too, actually.
No.
Yeah,
And here's the thing. My wife is trying to, because she knows that I'm kind of complicated to eat.
Right.
What she does is she doesn't want to repeat the same meals.
Right.
And I'm okay with it. But it's just kind of her stuff. Like, I don't want you to be bored with the same food over and over and over.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's doing exactly what you're saying. All right, you're like this, and that, and the right portions and everything. And I'm okay with it. I mean, the other day I just had a fight with a pepino because it was
just like,
it was I was eating like for 5 days straight on different salads. But that specific day, maybe I don't know what happened, but the size of it, it was
intimidating.
It was too big, and I was like, no.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm just gonna leave the pepino on the side to that. I'll eat the tomato, the lettuce, and everything else. The zanahoria, but don't
give me that.
Yeah,
no.
pepino is not going on today.
Gotta take it slow.
But I love that word that you mentioned. Don't look it as a diet. And I'm not looking at it as I'm doing diet,
Right.
because if you remember, I didn't mention the word diet. I just
No, you
say
didn't. No.
I'm changing the way I'm eating.
Yeah, no, you did a great job. But a lot of people say that I need to go on a diet.
No, I'm not on a diet. I'm just changing the way that I'm eating.
And that's what I would encourage a lot of people to do, is just to see it as a lifestyle choice. Because what happens is people get on Ozempic and they get the bypass surgeries and whatnot. And again, I'm not judging. And sometimes people need that kickstart. I get it.
Exactly.
However, learn the habits. I've had so many people take those medications and they gain the weight right back because they don't incorporate the healthy habits and lifestyle. I'm like, go ahead. If you want to take that and you're supervised with the doctor and you want to kickstart it, but let's learn the habits together.
And it's funny.
Lifestyle.
It's funny how it works, because the other day we were out all day doing doctor's appointments, whatever, and we end up having lunch at PriceMart about 2 p.m. And I didn't even have my, how do you say, the merienda?
Your snack.
The snack.
My snack. And the doctor, she had something in her eye, so I had to take her to the doctor. So long story short, we end up in PriceMart, and I ate a slice of pizza. And 10, 15 minutes later, I was in the bedroom. And they tell me, like, but I was amazed how in less than 2 weeks that I changed the way that I eat, my body already rejects the fat.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say.
I can relate. Yeah.
With time, you're gonna stop craving that stuff. Like you're not really gonna want it. So I was doing really good for like months. You know, doing really. And again, like I still have little things here and there, but I limit them. Yeah. But I don't really want them that much anymore. But yeah, I went a little crazy one day, and I went and got like a boba tea. Then I went and had mozzarella sticks. And I just put a bunch of stuff in me, and then I was like I don't feel good.
I gotta run.
Just like, oh my God, my stomach was so torn up. Like for like 24 hours, I was not.
But you were been eating good for a long time.
Exactly.
Me, I was
2
like
weeks, wow.
2 weeks.
That's what I'm saying. But I mean, it happens fast, right?
I just started eating better 2 weeks. Then I got a slice of pizza and
that was
run
it.
first.
No, and it's true. Our bodies do adapt, you know, to that. And just like and like what Sarah said, I'm the same way with not even craving it anymore. Like, I don't drink a lot. Every now and then I'll have a drink, but I don't really have a craving. Like everybody's like, oh, you want a drink or a glass of wine? I'm like, no, I'm good. And like, oh, you don't drink anymore. And I'm like, it's not that. I just don't really, it doesn't align with my lifestyle. I much rather have, if I want to have a treat, I'll have a piece of cake. I mean, it's just, if I want to pick my calories, I want to have a dessert over a glass of wine or.
Now that you say treat, the other way we were talking in my house, you know how they say you get a cheat day. And on the cheat day you eat, or some people, not they say, well, I'm eating a burger or pizza or whatever. I was like, I want my cheat day to be un bistec encebollado con arroz, frijoles, like, or la chuleta. That's what I want for my cheat day. Like, I don't want to run and get a burger or something like that. I just want to have like the old casado that we have here, like the big one. I
love it. Yeah.
Instead of running for and I try to do it on Friday and on Saturday, and something always came up, and I was like, Destiny doesn't want me to have a cheat day yet because I really wanted to have, like I said, a casado. I'm not thinking about a burger or fries or fried
Pizza
chicken
or
or whatever. And my wife was saying like, but isn't a cheat day like you can eat all day whatever you want? And I was like, no. I mean, you get one meal of whatever you don't eat that often now because you're cheating the way you eat.
Even a casado I don't feel is that bad. Okay, like you got to lay light on the rice. But the beans are good for you.
But that's
whatever
what I'm saying.
Protein's good for you. It depends what oils the meat's cooked in too. Like be mindful of how the casado was cooked, what oils it was used with. But lay a little light on the rice. But the rest actually is pretty healthy for you.
I want to say that that's my cheat meal because I want like the whole.
You want the whole thing. Well, and
a lot of rice, frijoles.
If you went a little lighter on the rice, it probably wouldn't even be a cheat.
El bistec with the onions and
I have something about the word cheat in meals. And just like we said in the last episode about the words we use, and I do use the word treat. Now, a lot of my gym bros, they say cheat. I say treat only, especially if you have children and you're their role model, because then you see cheat as something bad. Like if you cheat on your partner or you cheat, it's bad. And to me, I always like to use the word healthy or unhealthy. Like there aren't any bad foods. There are unhealthy foods. And just as a mom and I also worked on an eating disorder unit for a long time in the U.S. and, reframing that too, because sometimes, because a lot of people use cheat. They're like, oh, today's a cheat day. And I'm like, why is it a cheat? Why are you cheating? Seeing it again as a lifestyle and having it more, I'm going to treat myself to a piece of cake.
And now that you're saying, that's exactly what I wanted to do. I've been eating so healthy in the past few days that I want to treat myself with a big casado. And that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to cheat.
You didn't want to cheat.
I just wanted to treat myself for being so good on eating healthy the past days.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
that's not even that bad. That's a good treat too, I think.
Yeah. Totally.
No,
Lots of good stuff.
The thing is, and I say that why is it a treat? Because I'm eating healthier, but in portions, as you mentioned before. With the casado, I didn't want to know about no portions.
You just like put it on there.
I just want exactly. Uy, plátano maduro.
On a weekend, like I still go out to eat, or even like I have my lunch there. I got a can of tuna. I got the other protein bar. I got 2 bananas, which are my carbs, and I got my other avocado. So I got my fats, my carbs, my proteins.
And it's not difficult. I tell people all the time. They're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't do that." Yes, you can. On Sundays last night, I usually have Sunday nights as doing meal prep, and I did a bunch of ground turkey meat. I did some camote, some sweet potato. It's not difficult. It really isn't. It's just about, again, having a routine, and it's cheaper. It's healthier. I could go on and on and on about meal prep. And again, it's kind of like going back to building your self-esteem. You're basically saying, I'm worthy. I'm worthy of doing this. I am worthy of giving myself good meals. And when you build your self-esteem, other areas in your life improve.
I am glad, Crystal, that you came today and that I got to tell my story of what's going on. And it's related to what you do. And I hope people that has been watching today's episode can relate to it. And it's a bit help of you're just changing the way you eat and that you're building your body for a better way that you look, which is exactly what I'm working on right now.
Good, great.
Yeah, I'm glad you got something out of it. I mean, I didn't know you were working on that. Like we could have. I love talking about those things. Like I've been on that journey for a while now. Again, just to be a healthier me and stay healthy so I can be there for my daughter as she grows up and continue to be strong in business and get enough sleep and hit those macros. That's what I do with my day. But try to get my 10K steps and hit my macros.
There you go. All right, Crystal, thank you very much for being with us today. It really helped me out. I really love this episode.
Great, this is a good one. I know we didn't get into all the other stuff. Maybe if you have time, you could come back for another episode and we can get into the other topics. But I thought this was a really good one too. At least
I kind of hijacked the episode.
That's okay. You know what? I think this is something that a lot of people will relate to, and
Yes.
good
Yes.
tips and just reframing your thinking.
And again, it's me sharing my perspective
Yeah.
of what I'm doing and taking your advice. I love the way you speak and the way you change words.
Yes.
I highly believe the words that come out of your mouth
Absolutely.
are very, very powerful, and how you have to change some small words.
Small words. And I always say the words we speak are the house that we live in.
Yeah.
It becomes
Love
the
it.
house we live in.
All right.
Well, thanks again. This is a good
Yeah,
episode.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Hope y'all learned something, and we will see you in the next episode. Thanks
All
for
right.
following us along.
Great.
Pura vida. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Esto fue una producción de La Resortera.